What's up everyone, Chris here from MTR Network, and we're back with another movie review. This time we are reviewing, well, I'm reviewing Leigh Whannell's Upgrade. You've probably seen the commercial for this film. Looks really cool. You see, the general idea is it stars Logan Marshall-Green. He plays Gray Trace. His wife and himself are injured. His wife's actually killed at the beginning of this film. He's left paralyzed. He's got a chip inserted into him, and between him and the chip, they go off to kind of avenge his wife. But there's another little plot there you'll figure out later on in the film. Like I said, it stars Logan Marshall-Green, stars Betty Gabriel. You probably remember her from Get Out. I actually remember her from Purge election year. There's Harrison Gilbertson, Benedict Hardie, and then the voice of the chip, which is called STEM, is Simon Maiden. I really enjoyed this film. It's like a sci-fi thriller. It fits along the same veins of you would expect from something like an Ex Machina, or, you know, kind of like a little bit of Blade Runner. Like any of these films, like I actually interviewed the director, Whannell, and when I was talking to him, he pretty much said that his influences were like some of the 80s sci-fi tech films he's seen before. He grew up with things like Terminator, Scanners, RoboCop, and things like that. And in a way, you can definitely see the RoboCop thing because, you know, Gray gets the chip involved in him. He can get these, he gets not powers, but he, you know, the chip basically starts taking over his body function, so he can able to do things like fight, see things are coming. It helps him kind of track down these men who killed his wife. The thing that makes this film, the thing I like about this film is how, I mean, this is a genre of films that we've seen time and time again, and so when you go to do a film like this, you kind of have to, you gotta find some different ways of doing it, and I find that that's what happened with this film. This is Leigh's second time directing. His first time was Insidious Chapter 3, and I really enjoy what he did with this film here. Basically, you know, when you get films like this sometimes and you have all the technology taking over the world, you basically have them basically saying it's a dystopian future. That's not really the case here. Like, this is a world where it's almost like a mix of Minority Report, where there isn't any real crime and violence because, like, people have fully embraced technology. You have smart cars, you have smart homes. Your smart car, people don't drive. Like, you know, the cars drive you wherever you need to go to. Your home is smart and it'll fix your meals. It'll do anything you need to do. Nothing. Humans don't need to do anything physically anymore. It's supposed to be this ideal, you know, supposed to be this ideal paradise. Even when, you know, his wife is killed, they have trouble because the men who killed them, for some reason they were able to shield their faces because they have drones all over the place. They're able to identify all these people. So what made Gray different was he was still like an analog person in a digital world. You first see him, he's got his hands dirty. He's working on an old car, and he's, you know, he doesn't really believe in all this technology things like this. But when his wife is killed, he's got this chip put into him to help him get his life back, to help him walk and move again. And you see that it's really a story about how, you know, humans have given so much of themselves to the digital world that pretty much everybody has to. Gray didn't want to be plugged into the system, but he ended up having to be because that's just, in order to get anything done in this world, you have to. And like I said, I think it's a really, it's a really unique story. Like I said, it reminds me of Ex Machina and the story he's trying to tell, and basically the beware of technology deals, and you know, giving ourselves to technology comes with a risk and it comes with a cost. So I really enjoy that aspect of it. If you saw the trailers for it and you were like, I really want to go see this, I know you're probably saying that because you saw the action. And again, it's not overly action. This is not an action film. But when there are fights in here, you have these basically enhanced humans fighting each other, and it's pretty cool. Like, I think you see in the trailer, you see the one guy, you know, shooting from his hand and things like that. Like, these people have become like a blend of human and cyborg. And, you know, for a film that doesn't have a big budget, and this is not like a big budget, big CGI film, the action scenes are really good. They're really intense. If you saw the Red Band trailer for this, then you know it's graphic, but I would say they didn't go too far. Like, I feel sometimes you can you can almost get too far with being graphic and gory. They didn't go too far with it. It felt really natural. It felt good. It felt like not doing too much. I mean, there were definitely some times you're gonna want to look away, but the way that they shot the scenes and the way they did that stuff, it really gets you in there. And like I said, the technology, the way that they had these sets up, I kind of looked at it like, well, it reminded me of like Blade Runner 2049 in terms of looks. I mean, obviously, Blade Runner 2049, whatever how you feel about the film, it looked fantastic, and obviously they had a really, really big budget for that. This film was not that, but it had that aesthetic to it. Like, they were still able to give you that feel without having to get a really big budget, and you got in the mindset. Like I said, the between the smart home and the smart car, you automatically kind of get into the mindset of what this film is trying to convey, and it works. If there was anything that I would say that I didn't like, and again, this film is 95 minutes. Like, it gets in and gets out. There's not a really, like, I don't see how you get into this and you don't enjoy this film for at the very least for what it is. If there's one thing I would say is, and I think that was just me, I've seen enough of these films, I could kind of figure out where they were going with it. Like, there were a couple of things I kind of picked up that I think were supposed to be trying to be hidden, and I was able to see through that. I can't really knock the film for that, though, because when talking to talking to other critics outside of the theater after seeing it, they didn't pick up on those things. And so I think that was just a me thing that I was able to see that. Like I said, I think it's a very, very enjoyable film. Like, you know, you've seen these kind of films, you kind of know where it's going. I don't see how you don't, even if you know where the story is going, and I kind of did, it didn't take away from the feeling of it. And I really enjoyed what I saw. And again, for 95 minutes, you can't really beat that. You can't really beat that. You can't really beat these small, films, director-made films. Leigh, he wrote it, he directed it, and you can see there's kind of a passion project. He was able to go in there, and I think it worked really well. So I enjoyed this. If I had to, I'm reviewing it, so I have to give it a rating. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Like, I really, really enjoyed this film, and I think this is a film that, again, it's not going to make a whole bunch of money. It's not going to be a whole bunch of people going to see it, but I really think people, when they go to see this film, they'll enjoy it. Like, when it comes to films that are obviously not like Infinity War and Black Panther and things like that, I say between this and A Quiet Place are probably my two, like, kind of under the radar films. I guess A Quiet Place didn't really go under the radar, but like, those are my two kind of favorites of the year outside of like my big blockbuster films. Like, I really, really enjoy this. So I got to interview the director. I think I mentioned this. So if you want to see, I transcribed the video, the audio for that. We didn't do video. If you want to read the interview that I had, it was a really, really great discussion. We talked a little bit about the film. Also talked about, like, just him going from being, a writer, producer, actor, and now directing a second film. Like, what all that entails, lessons he learned. We talked about some what he sees as the future of filmmaking and things like that. If you want to read that review, that interview, click the link in the show notes, and it'll take you to the site mtrnetwork.net, and you can read the interview there. So I will be back next week. We got plenty of reviews coming out. Like, I think next week I got next week is Tag. No, Tag is the week after that. So we got Hotel Artemis. We're doing Ocean's 8. And I believe also The Incredible Sue. So I think I have all three of those reviews coming out next week at some point. So stay tuned. Next week's going to be really, really busy. Sorry about that. I was really hoping to kind of finish this review before the battery ran out of the camera. Did not. So always check your battery, guys. But anyway, like I was saying, we got a really busy week coming out next week for a movie review, so just stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, and also check out movie trailer reviews on iTunes, Sister Radio. We'll be doing some audio reviews as well. So again, folks, thank you guys very much for watching this video, and until next time, we're out of here. Peace.